Hey guys, it's DT. Something just showed up on my doorstep, so I thought we'd make a little video. So today I am proud to present the Storm Premium format from Sideshow Collectibles. As you guys know, I'm a big X-Men fan and I've been waiting a long time to add a Storm to the collection. We've got this nice art box with a picture of the statue here on the front. We have all these lightning effects. On the back, we've got a big exploding Storm logo. So this box is pretty big, but I don't think it weighs that much. I believe the label said it was around 22 pounds. So let's go ahead and open it up. We've got the familiar white foam. Let's see what we have. Not a whole lot of parts here, which is typical for most Sideshow premium format statues. But let's take a look at the base here. We have this kind of tornado whirlwind base. We've got some brick, some rocks and debris getting swirled up in this big tornado. It's got a really deep, rich color to it. I think this darker color will contrast Storm nicely. So we'll get a closer shot of that once it's all assembled. And then here's a look at the bottom. They made 3,500. There was no exclusive. This is number 913. Pretty cool. Starts out light, gets darker towards the edges. Simple but elegant base. Now let's take a look at Storm. As you can see here, she comes pretty much fully intact. She's actually on house arrest, so she has this big ankle bracelet on. We've got a nice silver color. Now there's been quite a debate, not on this particular statue, but all the way since Jim Lee created this costume back in the 90s, whether this costume was white, was silver, or black. And as you can see, depending on the lighting, this one can kind of give you both that black effect and I guess if it's very bright, the white effect as well. From evidence, Jim Lee originally intended for this costume to be black, a very shiny black, which uses a lot of white highlights. Sometimes in the comic books it's harder to depict certain colors, but when they did the trading cards, which came out during the same period as that first X-Men issue, you can clearly see that it was a darker costume, but as time went on and Jim Lee moved to Image Comics, I think they just changed it to a lighter costume, and then the debate became whether it was silver or white. White is a little bit easier to portray in an animated series. I think that's why they went with the white costume. We've seen a lot of white Storms. We've even seen some black ones. So it's nice to get this silver variation as well. Very nice sculpt here. We can see a lot of details up here in the bunched up materials. Then we've got a very smooth, leathery, shiny texture here on the main part of the suit. We've got some nice division here. Again, some more of that bunching of material down around the knees. And then she's got some very nice pointed feet with a minimal heel there. And the whole thing just keys in right at the top of this little whirlwind. Very large key with a peg. We've got a single portrait with this one. No switch outs. Very nice sculpt there. She's got a bit of blush on to accentuate those nice cheekbones, and her eyes are whited out, but as you can see, it's not a complete whiteout. We've got a whiter iris around kind of a gray eyeball. Now I know some people had some issues with the hairline. It's not terrible. It's lit from above, so there's gonna be a little shadow. If you light this thing from the front, I'm pretty sure that that little line there is gonna disappear. Definitely not a deal breaker, at least for me. She's got some nice little thunderbolt earrings on. Very nice flow to the hair as it kind of twists and curves around. It might have been nice to have a switch out option, but I'm sure that would have added to the cost of this piece, which isn't bad if you live in the US compared to some of the other options that we have. I really like the XM Studios Storm, however, I didn't like it enough to pay 4 or 5 times what this one cost. That one is an all white suit, so I wouldn't mind having both, but until that price comes down, I'll be satisfied with this one. Very nice glossy lips as well. Here we have a couple hands. These are looking pretty similar to the hands that I have for my Jean Grey premium format. As you can see, Storm has some huge hands compared to Jean. As far as the pose goes, Very similar, but that makes sense since I think Mark Newman, who sculpted the Jean Grey, also sculpted this one as well. Some nice shiny treatment on those gloves, and you can see all the little details in the folds in the fabric. And then finally, we have the cape. Again, I wish this was a completely sculpted cape, but you know, in order to save some money, sometimes we gotta take this fabric route, at least with Sideshow. Obviously, if this was a sculpted cape, you'd probably end up with a much larger box, maybe even two, maybe some breaks. The shoulder pads here are sculpted. Again, a nice metallic silvery color with some gold trim. We've got the little X logos there where they connect to her costume. One of the things I don't like about fabric capes is you're bound to have some wrinkles right out of the box. With this cape, I think we can probably do a light steam on it to get those wrinkles out. Some of the faux leather type capes, it's a little bit harder to get the wrinkles out, but for these fabric ones, it's usually not too hard. Some nice coloring here. We start off with this kind of purplish tone up here at the top, and as we travel down, it gets more whites or gray. And then we've got a nice gold trim along the bottom, kind of more of the same on the inside. And it's got a nice shimmery sheen to it that should go nicely with the rest of her costume. Well, there's one more thing in here, and that is the little AC adapter power cord. I didn't show you guys, but there's a little button on the base. You can plug this thing in, hit the button, and we should see some lights. And we don't need any batteries for that light up, so that is another plus. So let's go ahead and take these pieces over to the table and get her assembled. All right, guys, I got all the pieces here on the table. Let's set her up to give you guys a sense of scale. Here we got the base. We'll just plop here in the middle. And it looks like we just key her in. Lining up the key. There we go. In pretty smoothly. There is a little seam there, obviously, but it's all black and separated here at the brick. I don't think it's going to be too noticeable. You shouldn't be looking at that part, I guess, anyway. We've got all these little swirlies in there to kind of hide that seam. I guess we're gonna put this cape on next. Just keys in 2 magnets here on the shoulder pads that just go into her shoulders. And then we'll have to figure out this cape. There's a little wire in here that allows you to pose it, and that's one of the advantages to having a fabric cape, is that you're able to kind of pose it and do whatever you want with it. It's also one of the disadvantages if you don't like doing such a thing. This one, we got a pretty big cape here, so we'll figure something out. And then we'll stick her hands on. Bam, bam. Her head, which is one of the heaviest parts. Boom, right there. All right, and I believe we have to connect these to her wrists. So I think there are magnets that attach to her wrist. However, they are not that strong, and the cape does want to pull down, kind of just stays there or not. With this one, there isn't a whole lot to do. I mean, both ends are connected to her wrist, which means the rest of it should kind of just be flowing down. You could say that because there is a tornado down here, everything should kind of be swirling around and blowing, in which case you would want to kind of bring the ends of this cape up. Doesn't really work with the magnet setup here on the wrist. Without any kind of support here in the back, the whole cape kind of wants to push forward in the front, which might give you kind of an undesired effect. But you know, it's just something you'll have to play around with. We'll just leave it like that for now. I will go ahead and plug this thing in as I'm showing you guys all the detailed shots. As always, let me know what you guys think of this piece in the comments down below. But here she is, the new Sideshow Storm.